Good morning, fellow Plexers. This video is going to be about Ubuntu 24.04 and how to get it set up to use as your Plex server and your PC to use Plex related tools on. So Ubuntu is a fresh install, and this is what I'm presented with. All I've done is gone into the App Center to install both OBS Studio to record this video and VLC. That's the only changes I've made so far. Oh, plus, when I logged in, let me move this off screen for a second. When you log in, you have your field right here to type your password for your username. I clicked on that, and then I had an option that appeared down here where I could change from Wayland Windows Manager back to Xorg. I need Xorg in order to use hotkeys for OBS Studios to start, stop, pause, or resume a video. None of that works under Wayland yet. So that's the only reason I'm not using Wayland. Okay, so we have this. We'll hit next. Just leave that default. Skip the Ubuntu Pro. You really don't need that subscription. And you can choose whether to share system information with Ubuntu to improve the distribution. And then it takes you to the App Center. But there's a bug in the App Center. So let's open the App Center and finish this onboarding. Down here under Manage, you'll notice that I have a number 8. And if I go to update all of this, it won't work because there's a little bug with a new Ubuntu install. So let's tidy things up and open up Terminal and fix things so that the App Center will work. I'm going to right click and unpin Thunderbird, unpin Rhythmbox, unpin the help, and I can do this to search for something like Terminal. The escape gets me out of it. Or I can go down here to this symbol and just see the apps. They're all alphabetical, so I'll slide the mouse a little bit, scroll, and where is Terminal? Well, I guess they're not alphabetical. Here's Terminal here. So I'm going to right click on Terminal and pin to dash because that's handy to have in the dashboard, which is like a toolbar. So I'll open up Terminal and let me get my cheat sheet going. I'm going to type sudo space snap space refresh space snap dash store. I'll hit enter and I'll have to type my password. Note, I'm typing my password, but there's no indication that I've typed it at the cursor. All I have to do is hit enter and I'm away to the races. This will update the App Store and Snap so that you don't experience that bug. Now I can close Terminal and I can go into the App Store. I go back down to Manage in the lower left. The first thing I'm going to do, because I'll never use the Thunderbird email program, is hit the little down arrow and choose uninstall and type my password again. Let's get rid of that. I'll wait for it to finish and I will update all. This would fail without doing that little terminal command, and that's the only bug in Ubuntu, and it does not exist in Ubuntu 25.04, but this version 24.04 is a long-term release. So I'm going to start this copy of Plex media files before I do more with this desktop, because I'll be making another video on getting Docker and Portainer installed on this fresh install of Ubuntu. So I'll go back to Files, I'll browse my Ventoy flash drive, and I'm going to change my view right here. And you see all the ISOs I have on this bootable flash drive. I also have all my public domain media that I use for all my test servers here. with the exception of one regular 4K movie that's huge, 89.5 gigabytes, that I use without showing it and without sound when I'm doing a transcoding test. So I'm just going to right click that and choose copy. Let me make this full screen. I'll go back over to home, and right in the home I will paste this. I could go to other locations and paste it someplace else, but home's fine enough for this. Okay, so in a little bit this will give us an estimate. USB 3 is pretty fast. So this may be 6 or 7 minutes once it catches up with everything. So we'll let that just run in the background. Okay, so everything's updated here, but we still have to update the OS. So I'm going to show all apps, and I'll find settings, and I'll right click that and pin that to the dash also. Hit the escape to get out of that and go into settings now. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So I'll slide all the way down to system, and under about you can see my hardware. This is basically my motherboard, a Z690 Asus ProArt Creator Wi-Fi enabled board. I have a 12th gen i9, the 12900K. I have 64 gigs of memory, and between the three NVMe drives installed in the system, there's 6 terabytes, but we're only booted off from one of them. And system details will show you my video card, the GeForce 3060, and that has 12 gigabytes, even though it doesn't show that anyplace. And you can see the Linux kernel here. Okay, so let's do system details. No, where are we? Let me click on something and then click back on system. There's software updates. I had to get out of the about screen. So we did app updates first, and you could do this first too. Now, this isn't something you normally see. You don't normally see the partial update. So we're going to update by terminal instead, and it's very easy. Sudo get to your root space apt space update. That if I can spell update, that refreshes everything. Oh, I goofed my password. That refreshes everything so that you can now do sudo apt upgrade. I'll hit yes or Y for yes, and now we're updating the operating system, and it really won't take too long. So let me slide that over here, and I'll show you how to customize Ubuntu a little bit. First off, let's search for accessibility and go into seeing. I like to throw on large text, and let me then go to displays. This is another change I made. I'm running 2 monitors so I can slide left or right, and you can arrange them side by side or top or bottom, whatever you want. I did go in and change from the default for my monitors of 3840 by 2160 to 1920 by 1080p. With some Ubuntu based distros you can simply hit scaling to 200%, and that might give you a similar size desktop to what I'm using. Okay, so let's go into appearance, and let's just change the wallpaper. I happen to like that one. And then Ubuntu desktop, we will auto hide the dock, which means if you slide a program window or any window over it, it disappears, but if you slide your mouse up to it, it reappears to use. So then we're going to change the position on screen to the bottom to have a classic toolbar. And if I uncheck panel mode, it's centered. Let's see here. I'll also bump this up to 50. You can see how, let's bring something down or away from it. You can see how you can change the icon size on the dock, with 48 being default. I'm just going to slide it up to 50. And what else can we do here? You can change where new icons appear. Default is bottom right. And I'm going to turn off the enhanced tile. Let me do it this way. I'll turn off both options and do that. And that changes the icon, so I'll fix that again. Let's see if we turn everything back on. So I don't really use tiling. It doesn't really matter if things are on or off there. And configure dock behavior. I don't want to see network volumes or unmounted volumes, or even the trash on my dock. Alright, so I do see this icon because I have the Ventoy flash drive plugged in, and I'm copying media. And did I miss the notification that that finished? So if I look up at the date and time, it shows that the operation completed, and I can hit the X or I can clear it. So now I can remove the flash drive by ejecting it. I've got the notification that it's been removed, so I can pull it out. And I've got one more thing to do in the settings. Let's search for time. And I like to see the actual AM and PM. And you could add in seconds if you wanted, or the number of the week. So if I clicked on it now you see the number of the week in front of the calendar. And the weekday and so forth. So I don't need the week numbers, I don't need the seconds, but I'll have the weekday and the date up there, and you can customize it any way you want. So that's my customization to Ubuntu to get it looking kind of like a Mac in a way, with a toolbar down at the bottom. And now if we go back to the App Center, we cannot install Google Chrome. Let's see, this update's finished. Now that I'm back to the terminal prompt, I can just close it. You cannot install Google Chrome from the App Center, but you can install Chromium, which doesn't have all the Google hooks into it. I want the actual Google Chrome browser, so I'm going to go to Firefox. I'll add a new tab to get rid of these two, because I'll never use Firefox after this. Search for Google Chrome. The top link is what I want. Download Chrome. It's already pre-selected for the right install file, the .deb file for Debian and Ubuntu, or Debian or Ubuntu based distros like Zorin OS or Mint or Pop OS, Elementary OS. I'll accept and install, which downloads the file. It's already complete, so I'll close Firefox. I'm going to right click and unpin Firefox from the toolbar. Go into my downloader folder. Let's make this a little wider. I'm going to right click on the file and open with and choose the App Center. It gives a potentially unsafe warning. I'm simply going to hit install and then install again and my password.
You have a new flash mail.
So for it's installed, before we open Chrome, let's go back and look at the Plex related tools you can install. You can search for Make MKV. Now, you see how I'm browsing installable apps by snap packages? It's Ubuntu's own concoction. You can also look for Debian, and you won't see Make MKV as a Debian package. So let's install some of these. I'll hit the X and I'll type MKV Toolnix. So I do have it for snap packages. Let's see if I have the Debian. Well, I'm not sure if this is the graphical interface version. So I'll go back to Snap and I'll just install the Snap version. Now I'll do Media Info, but I'll have to spell it right. So I don't want the command line. I have this, and let's look at a Debian version. Nope, we'll go back to Snap and I'll install that. Now you can see the different releases. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the latest stable is from 7/29 of 25. It's pretty recent. So I don't really have to worry about trying something else. I can just leave it on the stable. Okay, so let's search for Music Brains Picard. And the same thing, the snap package of that is fine. And again, you can see which one you want to use. So I'd rather use the stable version because it's pretty recent than the latest Edge version. But if you want to, you can check that out to get new features earlier. And the only thing left is FileBot, which you do see it. I did not know it was in the store. I thought that would be a manual install, and it's pretty up to date from this summer. I was going to show you how to install it manually, which is just going to get the .deb file and installing it just like Chrome. So now we have all the Plex related tools you would need to maintain a Plex server on this Ubuntu install. Now, you could run Plex right from the App Center. This Plex Media Server is a snap package install of Plex. And let's go to Google Chrome now that we have it installed. I want to make Google the default browser. I won't sign in now. So let's do this. Plex downloads. So the web browser knows we're in Linux. And if I look down, I can choose a distribution. And for this distribution, I would want the Ubuntu 16.04 Plus, which means or newer, or the Debian 8 Plus Intel AMD 64-bit version. So it's already downloaded. But unfortunately, you have to learn all about Linux permission issues. So that's very easy to install. You would right-click on it, open it with App Center, click Open, and the App Center loads up with it, ready to install. Let's see, our App Center was already open, so here it is. But again, you have to figure out how to use the terminal to run commands to let that Plex install C or media locally on extra hard drives, on USB media. It's basically a junior college level course, and a lot of people don't want to take that course. So if we just back up and install the snap package of Plex, it's all the same. It will see your USB media, it'll see your local media. You don't need to take that junior college level course in permissions, and you'll just go from there. Now, I have a full Ubuntu tutorial video that shows you how that works, and there's a companion video that shows you all the tools. So I just wanted a fresh one to get you up to this point, because my next video will show you how to install first Docker through terminal, and then the Portainer command, the Portainer Docker container through terminal, to then use the Portainer interface to install Plex server, and you don't have to worry about permissions there. The only deep dive you'll have to take is if you're running an Ubuntu JBOD setup and you add multiple rusty drives to your PC. But for a simple server with USB media, this snap package install of Plex or a Docker container install of Plex will suit your needs. If you want to use multiple drives, I would suggest using something like Unraid or TrueNAS or Proxmox, and have a real NAS OS to manage your multiple rusty hard drives that hopefully you'll want to have in a RAID configuration to have some redundancy against one or two failed drives, destroying all your Plex media storage. Okay, so that's it. This is where we'll end it. We've got Ubuntu all set up. And oh, one more thing. If you're running a dual monitor setup like I am, you can't see the other monitor. Ubuntu does not allow you by default to span wallpaper. I almost forgot about this. If we search for tweaks, you can use GNOME tweaks. Let me get that installed. Okay, let's search for tweaks. Let me move this off to the side so you can still see the wallpaper. Let's go to Appearance, and the adjustment will change from zoom to span, and you see how the wallpaper now is only half of what it was, because this half is on my left monitor and the other half is on my right monitor. So that gives you a really nice appearance for Ubuntu. Unfortunately, whenever you change wallpaper, you'll have to reapply that in the tweaks. Let me see one. Let's go back to the default one. So you see that this is not spanning any longer. Okay, so that's it. That's my little Ubuntu setup video to get it looking nice, and a little bit of fix for the App Center. Thanks for watching.